Assalamualaikum and very good morning to all. My name is Nur Nadira bin. Saya kejap. Kejap. Okay. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to all. My name is Nur Nadira binti Rasti. Me and my friends Akmal Hisham, Farha Shah and Surya Aniza. We continue with chapter 4.5, which is wireless sensor networks. Okay, first of all, we need to know what is wireless sensor network. It is a wireless network consists of specially distributed autonomous devices using sensors to cooperatively monitor physical or environmental conditions such as temperature, sound, vibration, pressure, motion, or pollutants at different locations. Next, we continue with wireless sensor network architecture, which is used in wireless sensor network. It can be used in various places like schools, hospitals, roads for various applications like disaster management, security management and other. Architecture used in WSN ni ada dua, which is layer network architecture and cluster architecture. Next, wireless sensor node. Okay, first sensor. Sensor is a transducer. Sensor ni dia convert physical phenomenon like heat, light, motion, vibration and sound into electrical signals. Next is sensor network. Sensor network ni a collection of collaborating sensor nodes, forming a temporary network without the aid of any central administration or support services. And last but not least is sensor node. Sensor node ni dia basic unit in sensor network. Sensor nodes can collect, process, analyze and disseminate data in order to provide access to information anytime and anywhere. Okay, that's all from me. For the next slide, I will pass to Surya Aniza.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. So in my part, I will explain more about the wireless sensor network characteristic. So first thing first, we will talk about the power efficiency. So the power efficiency in the WSN is giving the designs that are necessary for wireless sensor networks to be highly responsive to deal with the mobilities. Okay, next will be the scalability. Okay, the scalability in wireless sensor network is the ability for a network to grow in terms of the number of nodes attached to the wireless sensor. So this is very important for the network as it can give more support instead of fixed number of nodes in one type of the network itself. The third will be the WSN's responsiveness, where it is about the ability of network to quickly adapt itself to change in the topology, and this is considered as its responsiveness. So with the highly responsive network, the latency of packet delivery and also and also the scalability will decrease. And next will be the reliability. So it is required to have reliable data transmissions in a state of continuous change of network structure. And lastly would be the mobility, where the network itself is able to handle mobile nodes and changeable data paths. Okay, next I will talk about the type of WSNs. So there is 5 types of WSNs, where the first we will talk about the terrestrial WSNs, where it is capable of communicating the base stations efficiently and consists of hundreds to thousands of wireless sensor nodes deployed either in an unstructured or structured manner. So example for the terrestrial WSNs would be the military application. Okay, second would be the underground, where this type of WSN has to be more expensive than terrestrial WSNs in terms of the deployment, maintenance, and equipment cost considerations and careful planning. The wireless communication are quite challenging in this type of WSNs due to high level of attenuation and signal loss. The third will be the underwater WSNs, where the autonomous underwater vehicle are used for gathering data from these sensor nodes. So some of the challenges will be the long propagation delay, bandwidth, and also sensor failure. The fourth will be the multimedia WSNs, where the function is to enable tracking and monitoring at events in the form of multimedia, such as imaging, video, and audio. And it is a very low cost sensor nodes equipped with microphone and also camera. And then lastly would be the mobile WSNs, where it is the collection of sensor nodes that can be moved on their own and can be interact with the physical environment. Okay, next I will pass to Akmal.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Boleh dengar ke? Hello?
Boleh.
Okay, now I will move on to the factors of wireless sensor networks. For the first one is fault tolerance. Fault tolerance means that a sensor or two may fail or be blocked because it has lack of power, physical damage, or environmental interference. A failure of some sensors should not affect the overall task of the sensor network. Next will be scalability, as Surya said just now. Scalability is a very important factor to ensure the efficiency of the routing protocol for the wireless sensor network and also for the growth of the network. Scalability is also very important as it ensures the network could be future-proof as more changes can be made in the future. Next will be production costs. In production costs, since wireless sensor network requires a large number of sensor nodes, so the price of each sensor cannot be high because it will affect the overall network price, which makes it a very demanding problem. Next is hardware constraints. Hardware constraints is the what need to be kept under control for the hardware, such as the hardware temperature, voltage, power supply, and other need to be maintained to ensure the best performance of the whole wireless sensor network. Next will be sensor network topology. Choosing a topology is not as easy as picking an apple from a tree. Each topology has their own advantages and disadvantages. These disadvantages and advantages is very dependent on how the usage of the sensor will be and what is the budget of the network will be. Next is environment. When picking an environment, when picking a sensor, things like environment situations need to be considered as it affects the performance of the network over time. Example for this environment situation will be seasonal change surrounding the city, as for example, deep in the sea or on top of the building, and more. For the penultimate, which is transmission media, the communication between nodes is normally implemented using radio communication, but in some sensor networks, some uses optical or infrared communication, with the latter having advantages of being robust and virtually interference-free. For the last one, which is power consumption, sensor network revolve around the usage of battery, hence making it has limited power resources. The hardware and software design must be carefully considered as the usage of the sensors power from sensors depends on the hardware and software to make sure the efficiency of the power usage of the sensor. Okay, next. Okay, here we can see the application of WSN. We have military, environmental, health, area monitoring, automotive, and other commercial. For military, the best example is usually the integral part of the military, such as the communication, the computing, or maybe the target system. As for environmental, we can say air pollution monitoring, or pH level water sensors, or even forest fire detection. As for in health, mainly the application goes into the hospital department, so like patient monitoring, diagnostic, drug administration, and more. For area monitoring, it speaks for itself. It monitors an area. It monitors usually a phenomenon that happened over a region and report back to its base station where appropriate action will be. Then the penultimate will be the automotive. Automotive is a example for a report of traffic congestion and traffic problem. Macam contoh, balik kampung tiba-tiba ada orang kata, oh jam kat highway mana. And lastly, for the other commercial, example for the other commercial is like structural monitoring, industrial monitoring, or even agriculture and many more. Okay, next I will pass on to Pak Ansha.
And now for the advantage and disadvantage of the wireless sensors networks. For the advantage, wireless sensors network can avoid lots of wiring. It also can accommodate new device at any time. It's also flexible to go through physical partitions, and it can be accessed through a centralized monitor. For disadvantages, it use a low speed compared to wired network and less secure because hackers can act as access point. Information may be exposed. More complex to configure than wired networks. It can easily get distracted by various elements like Bluetooth. And wireless sensors network still costly at large. It does not make sensing quantities in building easier. It does not reduce costs for installations of sensors, and it also does not allow us to do more than can be done with a wire system. Next. For the design challenge of wireless sensors networks first is heterogeneity. The different device may be difficult to collaborate with each others. And second is lower bandwidth communications. The data should be transferred efficiently between sensors. For the large scale coordinations, the sensors needs to coordinate with each other to produce required results. In distributed processing, the algorithm needs to be centralized as the processing is carried out on different nodes. For utilization of sensors, the sensor should be utilized in a way that can produce the maximum performance and use less energies. In the real-time computations, the computation should be done quickly as new data is always being generated. And that's all from us. Thank you.